Welcome to another episode of SaaS Growth Academy. I have Malte Scholz today, the CEO at airfocus. That's a strategic project management platform. airfocus has raised incredible 5 million series in 2021 and is now paving its way to success with impressive multi-million ARR. airfocus has been one of our first clients at Quality, so I'm super honored to have this conversation today and a success story of Malte shared with our followers. Welcome, Malte. We're thrilled to have you and can't wait to learn from your growth journey.
Hi, Olga. Thanks for the invite. It's great to be here.
Good. So, Malte, could you share in one sentence what does your product do exactly, and what makes airfocus a strategic software?
Yes, airfocus is an end-to-end product management platform. So we help product managers with road mapping, OKRs, prioritization, make sense of feedback, all kinds of like portfolio views for larger, more advanced product organizations. And yeah, we are the only modular product management platform out there. So in a sense, we are like Notion for product management.
Super. And how did you get an idea for your SaaS initially?
Yes, I'm a product guy myself, and I started this whole thing 5 years ago because I was looking for this type of software, and I tried all the existing tools. They didn't work. I landed back in Excel all the time, which was very frustrating. And then the obsession took over, and I couldn't think about anything else and started building the first versions of airfocus in the nights and on the weekends with my co-founder.
What was not right with the products that were there before that you've tried?
So first of all, there were way less products back then. Today, it's a bit more crowded. Mm-hmm. But yeah, the tools weren't just doing what I wanted them to do. So my biggest pain back then was I was looking for prioritization tooling to like score opportunities or features or initiatives against like these prioritization criteria, and then also road mapping was a big pain. And what I wanted to do was only possible in Excel, and that's why I productized it, so to say.
Mm-hmm. And did you validate your SaaS idea before committing to development? I mean, other than having this issue of your own?
Not really. I also didn't plan to like make this a startup. I just wanted to build this first product, and then we actually learned on the fly that this is actually something that a lot of people struggle with. And also, I think the validation back then would not have helped at all, because how we started is completely different to where we are now. So I would have validated the wrong things back then for sure with my knowledge back then. Today, we're like completely different company, different product.
Great. And when did you realize that you have achieved product market fit?
Good question. Good question. So there are obviously multiple definitions of product market fit, but I would say for the first time, this was around 2019, 2020, when we had like a few hundred customers, and you regularly get these messages from your users. Hey, I love what you guys are doing. Sometimes even like, hey, can I work with you? I think this is a very strong signal. But yeah, like I would say really the super strong product market fit has been like visible in the last 2-3 years, where we have like huge organizations like AstraZeneca that with hundreds, sometimes thousands of people work across continents and across large organizations on product strategy and product management topics in airfocus. So they're super locked into what we're doing. This is has been like a tremendous signal for product market fit.
Thank you. What about marketing channels? What would you say was your best performing marketing channel when you started?
We've always did a lot of paid marketing, just because people are actively searching for road mapping software or product management software. So that's a no-brainer, right? but obviously the best content always is organic content or organic traffic or referrals that land at you because, I don't know, they read about you or they read on some Slack community about you. So we're also doing a lot there. And we heavily invested into SEO early on, and we have a quite strong SEO position. And from like all that traffic that we get, we also are able to generate quite a lot of SQLs. Let me use that. We have a different internal terminology, but yeah, let's call them SQLs or PQLs. So it's a wild mix. In the early days, we also got a lot of relevant leads from like the app stores of Jira, Atlassian or Trello or Asana, where people are looking for extensions.
Yeah, those could be great, actually. What was the biggest challenge for you in getting your SaaS from 0 to 100 clients?
Good question. I think it's just building this initial feature set, getting this right, which takes a lot of resources. And in my case, I did not even like consider raising an angel round upfront, and that's why I, as I said earlier, kind of kickstart airfocus by having the side gig with the agency, which was actually more of a full-time gig. So we earned money. I invested the money into the company to build the first product. This was like a super challenging time, also because I became a father for the first time. It was intense.
Yeah. And what do you say? What about now? What is the biggest challenge for you today, growing the company?
I mean, I think it's the stuff that every founder struggles with, right? Like to first of all get to a scalable growth engine. I think on the product we're doing really, really well, and we have, first of all, some years ago, luckily or by design, decided to go in one direction, which now turns out to be the right direction. So that works very well. And now it's like defining and fine-tuning the growth engine. And we have very much shifted from self-serve PLG only to more like product-led sales these days. Still with a lot of PLG components. So I would rather say the current model is a subcategory of PLG, something like that. So we still very much believe in PLG, but sales is very much driving revenue growth for us. And first of all, figuring out what works and then scaling it is the boring answer to our biggest problems. Yes, and I think also long term, if you just virtually fast forward a few years, I think what will make the difference in whether we stop growing at a high rate at like 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 or 9, 10 million in ARR is going to be whether we figure out the exact positioning and the exact messaging that resonates with our audience and also builds a brand and a community. I think if you're just good at this, you can grow linearly, but if you really want to like grow even faster, at some point you have to become a brand and have to become like this go-to place. And I don't think we're there yet.
Yeah, understood. And churn could be a huge issue for a lot of SaaS companies. Do you have this issue at all? And if so, how do you fight it?
Yeah, we are in this kind of transition period where we are heavily focusing on mid-market and enterprise, and we're leaving all the SME segment behind. So we're not focusing on startups anymore. We still have a few hundred of these customers at low MRRs, but they can very much benefit from all the stuff that we're doing. Like we're not building for them. Let me put it that way. But we're just like on the growth side, very much focused on enterprises now. And on the enterprise segment or side, there is just less churn. airfocus is used as a collaboration tool. There's like all these lock-in effects, and we don't have a lot of churn there. On the SME segment, we do have churn, but it doesn't matter so much anymore. We don't super actively fight it.
Okay. And if you look back, what would you say made your SaaS a success? Is it some secret combination or anything else?
I mean, it's a team, right? We have a team of really engaged people that are hungry and that go full speed and that also like to work with each other. I cannot understand how you get into problems with founders, but apparently it happens all the time. So I think that's something that we figured out. We also try to build a good culture, be nice to people. It's a simple rule here, right? Just work on these projects together in a friendly way, like with friends.
Yeah.
And I think this is pretty much the recipe. And then of course, like we were relatively early on these topics. I think if we would found this company today, it would be probably much harder. We also were lucky in terms of raising money in 2019, in 2021, when there was like a lot of capital available. I just raised another round, which was it's not announced yet, but it was super tough to get this done. And
congratulations! I didn't know that.
Yes. We shall talk about this after the call, Olga.
Oh, we'll definitely do.
I have some ideas, like last time, right?
Definitely. Great.
Yeah. So yeah. No.
So if you'd say you were to start all over again, from scratch, what would you have done differently?
Great question. So first of all, I would have taken money, investor money earlier. So I think there are these two schools, right? Take money or bootstrap. I think both can completely work. I just see it in terms of opportunity cost and from the lens of life is short. Yeah. So I think we would be like 1 year faster if we had gotten earlier capital. And I would not have had to bootstrap airfocus by running the side gig and all of that. And of course, you don't want to raise money when you have nothing, but I think we had early signals that we are onto something, and then we should have just gone all in with full self-esteem and just get the money and build up the team. I think it's worth it. Take the risk. I mean, what can you lose? And
100%.
And from there, good question. I mean, understand. We should have understood earlier that sales is actually working really nicely and that PLG is nice, but it just if you don't misunderstand PLG with going after SMEs, then you're good, right? Which means you have to understand that for certain customers you need to have sales on the team, and that's the only way for a company like ours to really get to high growth numbers at a consistent rate. Yeah. So we should have done this earlier.
So you're saying that you didn't have salespeople on board when you started, and you only okay.
We only started 1.5 years ago. We were self-service only until we hit 2 million in ARs or something like that.
Yeah. But did you have the request for that early on?
Not really. I mean, of course, when there was a customer that wanted to talk to someone, of course, the founders, we talked to them, but we didn't institutionalize it and have like processes and scalable ways to do this, right? And also we didn't do outbound, none of that.
Definitely. Well, that's great points. And last but not least, which advice would you give to SaaS founders starting their SaaS today? Because a lot of SaaS founders are following us and reading our posts, listening to the interviews. So what would be your advice to them?
Good question. I mean, it's all about focus, and like when you again mentally fast forward a few years and then you from that perspective look back at you will realize that there is this clear 80-20 rule, like the 20% of what you're doing, they generate the 80% of the outcome. And if you know this today, really do everything you can to figure out what's going to work, and then stop doing everything. And it's the simple stuff, right? Like understand who your customer is, understand who you are, what you can offer, how you want to position yourself, and then from there, how can you scale that? It sounds super silly and stupid, but it's really hard work, and like every company that I know struggles with it, and even like public companies sometimes struggle with this. And so do everything as a founder, especially to get there, and don't get too distracted by all that noise.
Okay. Malte, thank you so much. Thank you for sharing your insights, and they've been really valuable. And we really hope that fellow SaaS founders will find it inspiring. And guys, if you're listening to this now, remember to stay tuned for more empowering interviews with SaaS Growth Academy guests. Until next time, keep dreaming big.